Discover the advantage of unlimited access to all the stories and resources from IBJ and Inside Indiana Business. From insights to inspiration, business leaders rely on the IBJ for all things Indiana business. Start your $1 a week trial now at ibj.com/trial offer.
Do you want to mix moments of inspiration with time to network? IBJ Media Events has you covered. From industry deep dives to awards celebrations honoring Indiana's top leaders, see what's coming up and reserve your seat now at ibj.com/register.
This is Inside Indiana Business Radio for Wednesday, August 27th, 2025. I'm Marek Mazurek. Earlham College and several community partners are in the midst of a 5-year, $100 million initiative with goals of transforming and enhancing downtown Richmond.
If you're ever going to draw a map of the state of Indiana, make sure to put Richmond on it from now on. We're here, we're back. This is going to be one of the next major cities in Indiana, and it's going to start downtown.
That's Dakota Collins, downtown Richmond's Director of Community Relations. She's now helping lead the Revitalize Richmond campaign, which was launched after Indianapolis-based Lilly Endowment released its College and Community Collaboration Initiative. With that grant, Earlham was awarded $25 million and community partners added $83 million. That money is helping pay for about a dozen projects, including new apartments, adding a makerspace, new activities at Whitewater River Gorge Park, and more. For example, in May, Earlham announced a $30 million project that will focus on restoration and adaptive reuse of 5 historic downtown buildings along Main Street. One of the major project goals is to strengthen the connection between Earlham College and the city of Richmond. As Simtra BioPharma prepares to pour close to $500 million into Monroe County across 2 major facilities, local officials approved augmented tax abatements for the New Jersey-based biopharmaceutical manufacturer. Last year, Simtra started construction on a $250 million project to make pre-filled medical syringes and vials. That facility is on the western outskirts of Bloomington and is dubbed Project Greenlight Plus by county officials. In addition, last month, Simtra bought land for another facility just a mile north of the first site. The new facility is dubbed Project Park and will see $241 million of investment, where Simtra hopes to make oncology-focused injectable products. Simtra purchased that 65 acres of land from Cook Group for $45 million. For both facilities, the Monroe County Council on Tuesday approved tax breaks which go beyond the typical abatement schedule. Per development documents, Simtra is being given a 100% abatement on both personal and real property for the first 3 years of both projects. From the 4th year through the 10th year, the company will receive a 90% abatement. However, the council attached some stipulations to those significant abatements. Per the agreement, Simtra must finish building Project Greenlight Plus by the end of 2027 and Project Park by the end of 2029. In addition, Simtra must add a second manufacturing line at the Project Park location by the end of 2032. If the company fails to meet those benchmarks, it will face a less generous tax package. From the #1 source of Indiana business news, this is Inside Indiana Business Radio.
Thanks for listening to this IBJ Media podcast. You're probably going to remember this ad. Do you know why? Podcast advertising works. 85% of listeners recalled hearing an ad during a podcast, and 70% of podcast listeners have acted after hearing an ad. So whether you're looking to be heard across the entire IBJ Media Podcast Network, sponsor one of our shows, or just start with a 30-second ad, IBJ Media can help. Contact Advertise at ibj.com to learn more.
As Google moves into Phase 2 of its $2 billion data center project near Fort Wayne, the tech giant is requesting permission to fill in close to 2.5 acres of protected wetlands. In an August 12th application to the Indiana Department of Environmental Management, Google, through a contracted engineering firm, said it plans to build additional data center buildings which will impact 2 separate pockets of wetlands. IDEM has opened a public comment period on the request and is accepting feedback through September 11th. In total, Google is building on close to 860 acres of land in Allen County. The company has said the campus will power its AI technology and growing Google Cloud business for customers around the world. Google says it's avoiding some pockets of wetland, but it can't build around 2 specific sections that total 2.44 acres. In Phase 1 of construction, officials already approved Google filling in 3.6 wetland acres. If IDEM approves Google's new request, the project will build over 6 total acres of wetlands. To compensate for the loss of the land, Google is proposing to purchase wetlands mitigation credits in Eel River Township on the northwestern edge of Allen County. And the Indiana Court of Appeals overturned an Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission decision that allowed Duke Energy to raise utility rates on Hoosiers, with the court ruling the utility couldn't retroactively recover the money it lost due to a federally mandated cleanup of toxic coal ash. In reversing the commission's decision, the appellate court ruled that the Regulatory Commission impermissibly applied the amended federal mandate statutes retroactively to Duke's August 2023 rate hike application. Duke had sought that rate hike to recover costs it incurred between 2015 and 2018 for bringing its treatment and disposal of coal ash into federal compliance. PNC Bank Regional President Jason Eckerly is this week's guest on the Business and Beyond podcast with Gary Dick, presented by PNC, a weekly conversation with high-profile Hoosiers in business, sports, entertainment, and beyond. Available now from your favorite podcast provider. I'm Marek Mazurek for Inside Indiana Business Radio On Demand.
You know, the economy and the market are in a hairy place these days. It's up a lot, it's down a lot, it's sideways, and seems on the hour there's breaking news coming out of all areas of the country. How do you get your head around that? How do you not go crazy in the process? I'm Peter Dunn. You may know me as Pete the Planner, IBJ columnist, and my job for years has been to help you understand your financial life better in context with everything else going on. So what am I encouraging you to do? Well, listen to the Pete the Planner Show. Yeah, it's a podcast. You can get it wherever you get your podcasts, or simply listen at ibjpodcasts.com.
Thanks for listening to this IBJ Media podcast. You're probably going to remember this ad. Do you know why? Podcast advertising works. 85% of listeners recalled hearing an ad during a podcast, and 70% of podcast listeners have acted after hearing an ad. So whether you're looking to be heard across the entire IBJ Media Podcast Network, sponsor one of our shows, or just start with a 30-second ad, IBJ Media can help. Contact Advertise at ibj.com to learn more.